now, which is crazy. I'm trying to get
Good evening.
And then we do it.
The notice requirement provided for the open public meeting law has been satisfied. Notice was properly given. Said notice having been transmitted to the Courier News and the Star Ledger on Monday, January 7, 2013, as well as posted in the bulletin board in the city clerk's office. Mr. Clerk, may I have a roll call?
Yes, Madam President. Council members Brown,
Here.
Reeves, Knapp,
Here.
Storch,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
Chairman Reed, is absent at roll call. Council President Rivers.
Here. Mr. Clerk, can you try to get Chairman Reed on the cell phone, please?
Yes, we were unsuccessful in reaching Councilman Reed on the telephone.
Oh, man. Okay, thank you. Now we have to elect the chairman. Any nomination?
Nominate Corey Storch.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, any abstentions? Motion carries. Mr. Clerk, do we have any communications from the mayor?
Yes, from Marana the Mayor, correspondence dated November 18th, 2013, addressed to members of the governing body. She is requesting the advice and consent for the appointments of Alex Tolliver, Carolyn Brokaw, Jeffrey Burke, I think I skipped the first three, Malcolm Dunn, Cecil Sanders, and Barbara James to serve as commissioners of the Plainfield Municipal Utilities Authority.
Any other communications?
Yes, Carmen Louise and Kim Mumford and John Louise to serve as members of the Shade Tree Commission. William Unger, Vera Greaves, Peter Briggs, Neville Greaves, Marie Pass, Esther Dews, Denalia Coffey, and Abina Bay to serve as members of the Plainfield Community Emergency Response Team. Charles Ike, Cliff Simone, Philip Amici, Marion Fernand, Richard Sima, Oliver, Aiba, Alabisi, and Louise to serve as members of the Plainfield African Caribbean Commission. That concludes communications from Ron and the Mayor.
Thank you. Are there any other communications or petitions?
Yes, correspondence received from St. Mary's RC Church requesting permission from the governing body for street and sidewalk encroachment, and that's to conduct a religious procession which will take place on December 8th, 2013 and December 11th, 2013 from 12 p.m. through 1:30 p.m. Additionally, correspondence from Mr. Jeffrey Truk of Plainfield High School. He has submitted a correspondence addressed to the governing body requesting permission to hang a banner across the city sidewalks and roadways to promote Winterfest. The banner shall be hung across Park Avenue and East 6th Street from December 1st, 2013 through December 31st, 2013. And that concludes our communications and petitions.
Thank you. We all received our bills list, financial reports. Were there any reports of special committees?
None for public safety.
Administration and Finance?
None.
Economic Development?
No.
City and Neighborhood Services? No. And none for information technology or recreation. Okay, now we're at discussion items. First topic is our reorganization for 2014. I suggest we have it on January 6th, as I will be away from New Year's and February.
What time, Madam President?
You guys pick a time. Whatever.
7 o'clock.
We do. 6 o'clock?
They suggested 6 o'clock.
Okay, 6 o'clock, that's
Sounds
fine.
good to
Everybody,
me.
6 o'clock?
January 6th?
Oh, that's a Monday.
Yes.
Monday? Monday, 6 p.m.
Are we all in favor of that, guys?
Yes.
Monday, January 6th at 6 p.m. is going to be the meal.
Yes. I'm going to turn it over to Councilman Mayor-elect Matt.
Thank you, Madam President. At some point during the course of the meeting, I'll be seeking permission to have Watchung Avenue closed from 5th to 6th or the 7th for the purpose of one of the inaugural activities that I will be having as the incoming mayor. I'm currently working on plans for what is known as the People's Inaugural, which will be a week of service activities, all as a part of the inaugural celebration for the first week of 2014. On January 1st, I intend to take a ceremonial oath of office on the steps of City Hall and will speak to the people of Plainfield for about 3 to 5 minutes. There will be maybe another 3 individuals who I don't know who they are right now, who will speak as well. The council president, we will make arrangements for her to call in and give her congratulatory remarks to the city. As a part of this celebration, and the reason why I am calling this the People's Inaugural is because I want to include everyone from the city of Plainfield. Everyone. And we will start with the speeches on the steps of City Hall facing Watchung Avenue. Then the plan is for there to be the citizens of Plainfield will come through City Hall and will greet me for the first time as mayor. And then we will go into some heated tents in the back parking lot where there will be the People's Feast as a part of the People's Inaugural. I will be, with a team that I put in place, be soliciting sponsorships for a number of these activities. And so you will see and hear more about opportunities for sponsorship of the People's Inaugural. So this evening, we'll be seeking permission to have Watchung Avenue closed from 5th Street to 7th Street, and to have a tent set up in the City Hall parking lot where it will be a feast for all of Plainfield to enjoy and to participate in. We will be asking area restaurants to participate by providing a couple large trays of their favorite specialties to be served in sample portions to all of the guests. And this will occur for a period of about 4 hours on that day as a part of the People's Inaugural. So those are some of the plans that we have right now. There will be a service theme for that first week of 2014, and we will be having some kind of a service activity on each of those first 7 days of the year. That's all still in the planning stages right now. And if you have any brilliant ideas out there in terms of a service activity that you would like to see as a part of the People's Inaugural, then please don't hesitate to reach out to me. So I wanted to share that with my colleagues, and I wanted to share that with you in the audience, so you have a sense as to what we are planning as we take office on January 1st at midnight.
Thank you, Councilman Matt. Now we have a discussion item for the Housing Authority, a resolution of need for Elmwood Gardens. And I think we have Executive Director, well, I know we have Executive Director here. I would like you to come to the mic.
Yes,
Good evening, City Council members, President, and also Mayor-elect. Very good to be in front of you. What I have here is that it's in a couple of weeks ago, and it's been discussed many times before, is the resolution of need from a municipality that is needed in regards to the Elmwood Garden project that we're looking to move forward. We have completed relocation. As of about 20 days ago, our last resident was relocated without any problems, so that's been a blessing thus far. Everybody seems to be copacetic. Now we want to look forward to moving forward regarding with the New Jersey HMFA tax credit application that has to be in. It's actually in, but they're just waiting on us for the resolution of need that has to come from, be passed by City Council. So I'm here for any questions, any forensic questions that you may have. I'll be glad to answer them for you.
And what's the deadline on this?
Well, the deadline actually was November 29th, but they have extended it for a while due to the fact that a lot of late applications going in, plus the resolution of need, they will give you 14-day grace period. So I actually have passed December 9th, it's about to December 15th.
And if this doesn't happen tonight, what's?
Well, it could be, it could really slow the project down. All we're just asking, what you're just voting on is to say that Elmwood Gardens is in need of a redevelopment. That's basically all it is. So it's pretty, you know, it's a basic prerequisite for New Jersey HMFA application in order to move forward with the tax credit deal that we're doing with CIS.
Thank you. Any questions to my left, Councilman Matt?
Has that resolution been drafted?
Yeah, we do. Matter of fact, I don't know if anyone has a copy. I have a copy here of a generic copy of it. I could always send it over to your attorney, or I have one right in my possession.
Does the clerk have?
I'm not sure, did you get a copy? Jackie did send you one, correct? Great. And if there's any questions in between the time, you can call me.
I do have.
Hold on a second. Councilwoman Briggs, do you have any questions?
No questions at this time.
Okay.
Councilman Stewart?
Well, I don't have it in front of me, but just to clarify, the resolution, is it that the council is saying that we are in need of affordable housing, or is this, did you say that it's to say that we need to do redevelopment?
To do redevelopment. That area is designated for redevelopment.
I'm sorry,
I'll go to you, Mr. Mitchell.
I slightly disagree. It actually calls for an existing housing need. The
Yes.
model that we've been given does not call for redevelopment, but just that there is in fact a need for housing, and the council acknowledges that need for housing.
Okay, because it's not a redevelopment area.
That's correct. And as my understanding of what is in front of us, it is purely just a resolution of need, that there is an existing housing need in that particular area.
Got it, okay.
That is correct. I appreciate that, Council.
Councilwoman Brown? Councilwoman Williams?
Okay? All right. Thank you very much.
Council President, is there consensus to put this item on for vote at the next council meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Council. Appreciate it.
Okay. Moving right along, do we have any unfinished business? None?
Council President, maybe if we could have, there's a member from the PNUA who's here to make a very short presentation. Mr. DeCino, if he's in the audience, he can come forward. He's from the Sewer Department, PNUA, and he has a request as well. Thank you.
There's a builder who wants to extend the line from South Plainfield into our line. And when the authority was formed, there's an agreement between the city and the authority that we have to ask permission from the city to allow him to extend the line. And that's all we're asking for, is that this builder needs permission to extend the line into the city's line.
From South Plainfield?
Correct. I believe there's when we were formed, anybody outside the borders of the city who do not have a sanitary line, whether it's South Plainfield, anybody who touches us, that they want to hook up, we have to ask permission from the council.
Any questions?
Yes. Is the hookup to benefit a home in the city that use septic tanks, or is it to benefit a home in South Plainfield?
The house is being built in South Plainfield. There's no sewer line in that area. We're the closest sewer line to him.
Okay. And what streets are being affected as a result of having to dig?
It's only one street, and off the top of my head, I forgot the name of it.
What's the condition of that roadway, do you know?
It's an older road.
Would that be Lewis Avenue?
That's correct, Lewis Avenue. It's an older road down the end. It's a dead-end street.
Okay. And the street will be returned to its current or better condition, is that correct?
Correct.
And that would be part of the agreement that...
That's part of the agreement with the builder, yes.
Okay. Our engineer is here. Can we hear from her what her thoughts are on this?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good evening.
Is there anything you can think of, any reasons
The applicant has to apply for a street opening permit and pay the required fees, and I'll review his application accordingly.
That's correct.
What's the advantages or disadvantages of us doing this?
I mean, I can speak to it. Normally, it's just because of the proximity to a utility a lot of times. It may be, and you can speak to it more specifically, but if you can't locate sewer lines or water lines, you may go to the nearest municipality as opposed to going through your municipality in order to get the service.
Now, if something happens, say a line breaker on their side, who's responsible?
Well, I guess we would be taking some ownership of the line, so we would be responsible for it, I believe.
Totally.
But the only other option he has is to put a septic tank in. And they really they frown upon septic tanks anymore. So this is...
So could we have something in writing saying, what the rules are?
I'll go back and have our council draw something up out of it.
There's Lewis, and then the next street in South Plainfield is Maltby, I believe.
Correct.
Which? Not Maltby. My cousin lives on this other street that I'm talking about, but it runs parallel to Lewis. It's the next street.
Correct.
Where's the house being built?
The house is going to be built on Lewis Avenue, from what I understand, facing Lewis Avenue.
Okay. The only reason I'm asking this question is to find out whether or not there is an access to the sewer line on that other street.
There's where this property
To the
is.
South Plainfield sewer line.
Correct. Where this property sits, the South Plainfield side, there is no line that goes all the way down. That's the problem.
Okay.
That's the problem. It
All right.
sits here. There's no line on either one of those streets.
Okay. I don't have a problem with it.
So, will this property owner in South Plainfield be paying the user fees to the TMUA?
Yes.
Thank you.
Council President, pursuant to their interlocal agreement, this requires council approval. If the council sees fit if there's consensus to move a resolution, we can have that for next week's meeting, authorizing the connection of the sewer line.
Do we have consensus, guys? Yes. Thank you. Okay, turn it over to the chair. Before I turn it over, could you Councilman Reed, yes, please?
No answer.
Okay, council members, we're up to item number 7, and this is second reading of ordinances. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have 7 ordinances, 2013-13 to 2013-20. And we just recently passed them on first reading. Is there agreement to move these to the agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
Any questions on any of them? Thank you. On item number 8A, legislative body, we have item A. Any questions about the bingo raffle licenses?
I just want to note for the record that should read St. Mark's Church, not St. Mary's.
Not St. Mary's, okay.
And Mr. Chairman, for that reason, I will abstain from voting on this item.
Okay, thank you.
I'm a member of St. Mark's also.
Okay, so I also want the council's agreement to add 2 items. I'm not sure if this is 1 or 2 items to the agenda. This is the appointment, or I guess the consent for 2 housing commissioners that are proposed. and that is Joylette Mills Ransom and Howard Cameron.
Yes.
We have agreement?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Administration and Finance, we have a list of correspondence from the mayor. Is there consensus to move any of these items to the agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I would suggest that the only one of these items to go forward would be the item pertaining to the emergency response team. I would say all of the other items should not be considered for the next agenda.
Okay, so we're gonna do a roll call to see if we have consensus for Councilman Matt's suggestion.
Would make it easier, just if you want to just go one by one
Yeah.
and see if each one has consensus.
Okay. Would be easier, but yeah, we could do that. Do you want to do that?
Fair.
Okay, so the first one is the nomination of Malcolm Dunn to the PNUA Authority. Any consensus?
Yes.
Yes.
No?
No.
No.
Okay, that one fails. The next one is Cecil Sanders to nomination to the PMUA Commission.
Yes.
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 No.
No.
And I say no also, that fails. Barbara James, same nomination.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, no.
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 No. Okay, Alex Tolliver, also nominated to the PMUA Commission.
Yes.
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 No.
No.
No. Carol Ann Brokaw, PMUA Commission.
Yes.
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 No.
No.
No. Jeffrey Burke, alternate commissioner for the PMUA.
Yes.
What do you say?
Which one was that?
We're on Jeffrey Burke.
Yes.
For alternate?
Yes.
No.
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 No. Okay, then we have Shade Tree Commission. Do you want to handle these name by name or all three at once?
All at once.
Okay, the names are Carmine and John Louise and Kim Monfort.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
No. The Plainfield Community Emergency Response Team. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do them all at once, all 8 of them.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I had a conversation with Councilwoman Greaves, and I think she would like to remove her name. Unfortunately, due to our dual office holding portion of our charter, Ms. Graves cannot hold two appointments, or an elected office and an appointed office, so therefore her name cannot be included.
We have 7 names. So, we have agreement?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, you don't have to abstain because you're not on the list anymore.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I say yes.
I have a question. May I ask a question now?
You can.
With regard to this team, what, I haven't received like, as far as I remember, well, there's no like, numbers of terms and there's no term ending date. It's all open. So, clerk, city clerk, what are the terms and the appointments of this team?
The correspondence that I received from the mayor just had the names. I'm not aware of the exact terms.
So this would get this group off to a good start. So perhaps you could confer with the mayor if we agree to put this on and you could get those,
Absolutely.
that question answered.
And just one additional thing. We should check the creation ordinance to see if terms are staggered. Because normally, when you create a a new entity such as this, maybe first, a couple people will be appointed for 1 year, or a couple more for 2 years, a couple
So-
more for 3 years.
Mr. Mincello?
Yes, to answer that question, I specifically remember that the ordinance does not have staggered terms. They all serve for the same term. The amount of time, though, escapes me as we sit here tonight, but I believe that I'm certain it is not a staggered term.
Okay, so, any other questions about this before we decide on consensus here? So, I think everybody said no except for this side of the
Well, it
table.
just doesn't make any sense to make appointments when there's no information on a term that, usually, and I don't know how this is different from the commissions and so forth, but we usually get resumes, there's applications and all that. Do we have applications at least? City clerk?
That was not received by person.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
It just doesn't make sense to vote on something when there's no information given, in my opinion.
Okay, so, yes.
My suggestion, I personally don't have issues with the names on this list and for the purpose that they serve, but I think we need to get the terms straightened out first. So I think we should not go forward with this at this time. We should just get the information and revisit this. I don't have a problem with any of the names on this list. I think they've been serving in this capacity. They've been doing a decent job, so I don't have a problem with that. But let's do it right. Let's get the length of terms and do it as it should be done.
Okay, do we have agreement on Councilman Mapp's recommendation? Ms. Greaves?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So it's tabled. And the last one is the Plainfield African Caribbean Commission. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 8 names here. Any questions?
I have a question. Comment. The same thing that I think I mentioned, well, actually it's a question. Do we have, for our commissions, is usually a process whereby the community, where there's an application form. When I checked earlier today, I didn't see an application form for this commission, or actually I didn't even see it on the list of boards and commissions on our city website. And usually the way it happens is that, the community is invited to be a part of a commission and there's an application process. Do we have applications for this commission along with the resumes and the other accompanying material?
I can't say that applications and resumes weren't submitted to the mayor's office, but I can say that they weren't submitted to the clerk's office.
So again, I would say, it doesn't make sense to move forward in making these appointments. And I would say, I would add to that, it's December and the appointments, for this brand new commission, I really think that it behooves the council to make these appointments in January. And we have a number of commissions and boards coming up that would enable us to have the time for members of the community, maybe even these folks who I think I only know one of them, to submit an application formally. It's an African Caribbean Commission, and ensure that all residents in the community have an opportunity to submit their application and accompanying resume and experience and letter of interest, as we do with all commissions. Thank you.
Do we have any other comments?
Yes, the other comment I have is that we don't know the terms either, as far as appointments are concerned, whether they're 6-month terms, 1 year, 4 years, we don't know that. So we also need to get that information. So I would say we should not move forward with these appointments at this time.
let's hear from the council on Councilman Knapp's recommendation.
Make a motion to table.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Opposed?
Abstaining? Okay, that motion is approved.
Wait, it's,
That means we're tabling.
we're gonna come back to it.
Can I just make a comment on this?
Sure.
They already had, and I understand where my colleagues are going, but they had a celebration.
Yeah, they have
And they had a swearing in, and they were given certificates, and
So let's
Can I-
get to it. Let's get to it fast.
What makes it even more egregious and irresponsible, that was done in advance of, it even, coming before the council.
I'd like to note that the motion to table actually failed. We needed for table.
And actually, it's not a motion to table because we can't do that at this meeting. We were simply looking for consensus. And it's 3-3, so it doesn't have the votes to go forward.
I stand corrected. But this is something that could be fixed fairly quickly, right? Okay. We are now up to the Corporation Council part of the agenda. Mr. Mitchell, you have something for us?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Bear with me. Yes, I'd like to add two matters for the council's ultimate vote next week. First is a reimbursement of the Mel retention and co-insurance on the matter of Sergeant Craig Benson v. City of Plainfield, as for a resolution authorizing that reimbursement. And secondly, a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with the Public Entity Joint Insurance Fund.
thank you.
Thank you.
We have consensus.
Yes.
Okay. We are now up to item B, Department of Administration and Finance. We have a resolution to amend the municipal budget current year, inserting special items of revenue and appropriation. And can we get an explanation on this?
Absolutely. Good evening, council. This particular resolution relates to the number of grants that were received by the municipality, and this merely permits us to insert those into the budget.
You want to give us the highlights?
The highlights, anytime we receive additional money, obviously it's a highlight. The largest amount here is $284,000 and change, which relates to a generator that will be installed in the police division. There's some other smaller items from Union County that will assist with the Lambert House preservation. Recycling efforts, we do have a Union County Night Watch, which will assist the police division as well. So it runs the full gamut of services that this will allow us to provide.
Thank you. Council members, any questions?
None.
We agree for this one?
Yes.
Take the money? Okay. Okay, Department of Public Affairs and Safety, we have no resolutions. Department of Public Works and Urban Development, we have item C, authorizing the release of a performance guarantee in case deposits. This is for a property on Crescent Avenue. Agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Item D.
If I may interrupt just for a second, Mr. Chair, there was a subsequent corrected resolution presented this evening relating to letter D. More specifically, it just corrected the dates that were inadvertently applied. I believe the amount is exactly the same on the cover memo.
Thank you. We're on item D, a resolution authorizing the release of the performance bond and acceptance of the 2-year maintenance bond and release of the retention in the amount of $35,688. This is for the 2012 roadway program. Could we have an explanation for that?
Is Mr. Jackson here? Would you be able to provide a brief? Oh, Jackie Fouché. Thank you, Jackie, from Remington and Vernon. Thank you.
Jackie Fouché from Remington Vernick Engineers. What you have before you is normally when the contractor is performing the work, there's a bond that ensures that it will be performed satisfactorily, and it is kept throughout the progress of the project. And once it's completed, it turns into a maintenance bond. So since the work has been done, now they're responsible just for maintaining it, and the maintenance bond is for a 2-year period. So if we see anything wrong, we'll go back to the bonding company or the contractor to have it corrected.
Questions?
So is it 2 years up?
I'm sorry?
Is it 2 years up?
No, this is the beginning. It actually goes into effect October 21st, for it's 2 years from this past October 21st. So October 21st, 2015 is when it would end.
We have agreement on this?
Yes.
Okay. Item E, a resolution accepting the street lighting within the Shiloh Court right-of-way, which is a major subdivision.
Yes.
You have agreement on that?
Yes.
Okay. A resolution granting free parking in the city central business district from December 16th through January 1.
Yes.
You have yes?
I had a
Question?
Yeah, quick question. It says that that this has been the 11th consecutive year of doing this during the holidays, and that it creates, it promotes local businesses and creates a shopper-friendly atmosphere. It sounds great. But my question is, has anyone ever done any sort of analysis or spoken to the business owners to find out if they indeed do receive a bump in their revenues that would, correlate to the revenue lost without having the parking paid for?
Good evening, Council. Eric Jackson, Director of Public Works and Urban Development. Can't speak to their fiscal bottom line, but I can attest that they ask annually every year, will we be doing this? Because it does help business. So I'm told as well, this is the 11th consecutive year that it certainly spurs, one, goodwill on behalf of the city and the council, and that the businesses definitely ask, are we going to continually do it year to year?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're in agreement with this one.
Yes.
Item G, this is authorizing lien placements for cleanup on a property on Norwood Avenue. We have agreement?
Yes.
And item H, which is a resolution authorizing escrow refunds for 2 payees. We have agreement on this one.
Yes.
Okay.
Councilman Stewart?
Yeah, I was about to go back to item number 2 on the agenda, which are the other communications. I don't think that we did those. You have correspondence from St. Mary's and from the Plainfield High School.
So, we need to, I guess we need a motion? We don't need a motion.
Consensus.
Just consensus. Okay, so we have consensus for the street and sidewalk encroachment for St. Mark's and the Plainfield High School.
That one's actually St. Mary's.
That one is St. Mary's.
Okay. Okay.
It doesn't say it in there. Oh, yeah, it does, it does. Okay, we have consensus on that.
Yes.
Yes.
And the other one?
Yes.
To hang a banner across the roadway for the Winterfest for the high school.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. And item number 9, introduction of ordinance on first reading. There are none.
I was just reminded that I asked during my presentation for permission to close off Watchung Avenue as well as to set up tents in the City Hall parking lot.
Move faster on
So that's a resolution that I would ask my colleagues to consider adding to the agenda.
Okay.
I believe it had been drafted, right, Mr. Clerk?
Yes.
Any questions about that?
No, I have one more.
Okay, but we have agreement on that?
Yes.
Okay, yes.
One additional item to be added. I think we all received an email regarding Suburban Jewelers. So to have sort of a resolution from the council of thanks for their 50-plus years in business here.
Yes.
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 Agreed.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any other new resolutions? And I think it's time to hand it back to the council president.
Thank you, Mrs. Stewart. You're doing a good job. Now we have citizens' participation. Citizens are welcome to address the council on any governmental item that concerns to them, whether or not it is scheduled on the agenda above. During this portion of the agenda, a total of 60 minutes have been allocated for all public comments to be presented. If you wish to be heard, come to the podium and give your name and address to the clerk for the record. The amount of discussion on any single subject, as well as the amount of time any single speaker is allowed, will be limited to 5 minutes. Large groups are urged to select someone to represent them.
Thank you. John E. Pritchard, 750 Arlington Avenue, Plainfield. Several things. First, I understand it's Mayor Matt's birthday, so with the council's permission, I'd like to lead the people in singing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mayor Matt. Happy birthday to you. And I wish you many more. Secondly, I urge the city council to pass a resolution supporting our military personnel who are out there defending our freedom wherever they may serve, in Afghanistan or Cuba or Korea, both at home and abroad. Because we have sons and daughters in military service who are from Plainfield. And let's not forget, we lost 16 men during the war in Vietnam who came from Plainfield. Those who survived the war came back with the hatred of anti-war activists who call our soldiers Nazis, murderers, and baby killers. It's time we put an end to that N-word once and for all. It's another N-word I'd like to see retired along with the other one, which of course I will not use. And let's not forget that we owe our freedom to those who defend us. And in honor of our men who died in Vietnam, I'd like to sing. They loved us so. Every day in 100 ways, they told us so. In honesty, in affection, they told us so. They loved us so. Every day in 100 ways, they showed us so. With loyalty and bravery, they showed us so. They were our defenders, and they kept us free. They took an oath to guard us and fought for liberty. They loved us so, and we should know, for we love them so. Now, thirdly, on Muhlenberg, I have some articles regarding hospitals that I'd like to submit to the council, especially the one about Bayonne Hospital charging too much, but there's another hospital that's regarded as the bedrock of the community which it serves. And I think hospitals are the bedrock of our community. And the sooner we reactivate Muhlenberg, the better off we all will be. We need a hospital that is capable of mission. We need a hospital that can serve the needs of our citizens here in Plainfield and the surrounding areas. Because let's face it, we're 30 miles from ground zero. We're 30 miles from the bullseye. And we need a hospital that's capable of mission. Are we going to give up on Muhlenberg? Oh, no. No. We're not going to do that. We need a hospital. We need it badly, and we need it ASAP. And the sooner we activate Muhlenberg, the better off we all will be. Do I make myself clear?
Good evening, Council President, council members, administrators, and audience. I'm here to say congratulations to Mr. Mapp, Councilman Mapp, and I'm here to tell you that if you have any problems, you let the public know, because we are expecting you to do your job as you see fit. And all you people that are supporting him, you support him. Don't be arguing and fighting among yourselves, because I've seen too much of it. I've been here since February 22nd, 1957, and it has been hell on wheels a whole lot of time, and we don't want to see it this time. If the man has to have help, give him all that he needs. Don't knock him. He's a good man. Thank you, and have a good evening.
And Ms. Jamal, if I don't get the help, I'll come and see you.
Come on.
Harold Youth Surgeon, 53 Cushing Road. In the last 2 years, we had some of the worst streets in the community repaved, especially the axle breakers and tire ruiners on Leland Avenue and Watchung Avenue. What I'm concerned with, that it is now 2 years since Watchung Avenue was opened by the water company within 2 weeks of after the repavement. I do not believe that any of the multiple patches have been touched since they were reopened. Do they meet the ordinances of the city?
I don't see Mr. Jackson or the engineer in the audience anymore, but I do agree 100% with Dr. Yu. And I have raised the issue of cuts on Watchung Avenue previously at the intersection of 2nd and Watchung. But there are also those 15 or so cuts that were placed on the end of Watchung going into Leland Avenue. And the appearance of those, now that they have settled, the appearance doesn't give me the warm and fuzzy feeling that they were done using the infrared technology. So we need to follow up with the utility companies.
Yes.
We're talking about the cuts on Watchung Avenue. Dr. Yu raised the issue with utility cuts on Watchung Avenue. And I'm not sure which section he was referring to, but there are cuts pretty much from the beginning to the end.
We have a number of utility cuts, and we're taking a special effort to try to, unfortunately, trace behind the cuts, find out where the origin is, which utility, and make sure a couple of things happen. Now, with the new ordinance in place, we're having a meeting set up in the upcoming week or week or two with all the utilities to talk about the process. We don't feel, myself and the engineer, that since the ordinance was approved by this body, that they are coming to request one of the openings. The ones you referred to, though, Councilman Mapp, have been there for a minute, were prior to the ordinance being put there, but we're still working diligently to follow up who put the cut there to make sure, one, they're complying with the ordinance for how it's done in infrared sealing. It's a slow process, to be very candid, but we do work through the engineers to make sure that that happens. And I can get the addresses specific from Dr. Yu to make sure I address specifically his, but I am keenly aware of the cuts on Watchung, and we are chasing behind that.
Do know, though, that even prior to the latest ordinance that we approved maybe a month or two ago, that there was an existing ordinance that required infrared.
Yes, and that is part why we tried as best we can to stay in front of that. Most times we don't know until staff says, hey, there's a cut here, are you aware? And we don't. So we're bringing the utilities company into a meeting to talk again about the process and specifically about the ordinance for the opening process and requirements.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Whoops. Dottie Glutencow, 414 Randolph Road, Plainfield. I want to thank the council for not putting on the business agenda all these lame duck appointments. We've seen too many of those in other areas. Outgoing presidents, for example, of appointing Supreme Court justices. And it is not healthy for a new administration to be greeted by a bunch of appointments of people who have not been properly vetted and people who have not been properly considered and people who perhaps should not be considered for these positions. In a couple of instances, I understand that the terms of office are not specified, and that is, I would say, an example of extreme carelessness, and I hope that the council will act properly to correct that. And I also want to congratulate Mayor-elect Mapp on his birthday. Perhaps he's now old enough to drink legally, but not yet old enough to get a Medicare card. Congratulations on that, too.
Thank you, Dottie.
Good evening, City Council, administrators. Alan Goldstein, 939 Madison Avenue. Happy birthday, Mayor-elect. I'm in the birthday spirit. I did a little reading about these community emergency response teams today, and there's plenty to read. I'm not sure that I understand why this group is being appointed through the city government, because it seems to me that, at least in Los Angeles, where I was reading something, it's run out of their police department and the emergency management team, and mostly the team, the CRT team, are volunteers. And I think that the object should be to recruit other volunteers throughout the city. And if that's the case, which I would expect it would be, I would think that the group of people who are on as nominees are a little bit of an insular group. You got 3 people who live within a block of each other on Pemberton. You got a couple others scattered in the West End, but you only have one person who lives east of Park Avenue. So I think that on reflection, if it gets to that, you'd be better off getting a more diverse crowd of people, because if their object is to recruit others and get them trained, you want to have as many fingers in the pie as possible and network as much as we can. I don't see that coming from this particular group. I'd like for Mr. Restaino, if he could just maybe go over some of that $284,000 that was part of the hazard mitigation process. I'm not sure that I caught it, all the way that money is being spent. Because I think there are a lot of critical public buildings in town. Of course, the police and the fire might be right up there at the top. I also think the library is an important place. I know that I had visited during Hurricane Sandy. I visited my parents, and the whole town of Greenburgh in Westchester County was out, but they had the library going and it was packed. It was a place to communicate, a place to warm up, spend a couple hours, and I think that would be something to consider, at least a portion of that money, but I don't know exactly how that's being spent. Finally, I think what we saw tonight, we saw 2 counselors step aside from voting on a bingo license because they're congregants at a particular church in town. And yet, when it comes to moving ahead with some of these nominations for the PMUA particularly, we have a counselor here who is a former commissioner on the PMUA, who's currently a defendant in a lawsuit brought against the PMUA and all its commissioners. Someone who's participated in taking thousands of dollars in illegal compensation. But when it comes to voting or deliberating on what goes on in the PMUA, has no shame but to include herself in that process. And this is a personal interest, doesn't have to be a pecuniary interest with money, but this is something, where close ties, where there's no objectivity, and I think in this type of instance, and I know that it's not going to disappear, it's going to probably show up again at the beginning of the year, it's going to come up again. So I think that Corporation Council should consider some of the issues. I think that all the council should consider what those issues are, and people should act accordingly. Now, as far as a couple of those, I know that the names didn't pass muster, but you saw for yourself last week 2 of those individuals peddling their own interests, violating the city administrative code, peddling their own interests, peddling it in front of the city council, peddling it to the planning board, peddling it to the housing authority. How anyone could say, move along with these names, when you see the virtual disdain that they have for the ordinances of the city and their ethics as public officials, is beyond me. But I'm glad that in the case of all these nominations or correspondence, you moved along and you didn't bite. So I do appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Council President, thank you. Give me an opportunity to respond. I just want to state for the record that there is no law, there is nothing in our charter or our city code that would preclude Councilwoman Brown from voting on matters in the PMUA. Granted, certain matters could arise that might be different than the facts presented so far, but to date, every matter in which Councilwoman Brown has voted, she has not been precluded from doing so, and she has asked me to advise her on any of those matters. And I want to make it clear for the record, as far as allegations of illegal conduct, we have nothing before us, and I treat them as baseless. But for the law as it pertains to voting in our specific code of ethics, I see nothing that precludes Reverend Brown from voting. I just want to be clear on that. Thank you.
Can I also say something, since it was directed towards me? Our corporate counsel has already stated that my voting for PMUA commissioners are not a violation, nor is it in a conflict of interest. Also, the PMUA lawyers and 2 additional lawyers, along with the higher courts of the state of New Jersey, have concluded that the health benefits received at one point by myself and still by some commissioners are in fact legal. I just want Mr. Goldstein to know that, I'm not intimidated, nor do I lose any sleep by your insults or by your false accusations, by your internet bullying of me, and the fact that you insist that I've stole benefits. You have stated that because I'm a minister, I shall not steal. So you have insulted me. You have accused me falsely. Now, I didn't want to address this, but I need to say it because you are constantly saying that I stole health benefits, which is not true. And the commissioners that are receiving health benefits now, they are in fact legal. I need to put this to sleep. You can address it. I know you blogged some horrible things about me, but that's all right. I just want to set the record straight that it is legal and I've done nothing wrong.
Thank you, Councilwoman Brown.
My name's John Jackson, 909 West 7th Street, Plainfield. I had a busy day today, just trying to deal with the medical insurance problems that we have. I see a lot of things wrong with the city, and we need to make it better. The sound system in here should, maybe I'm getting older and I can't hear so well, but I try to hear what's going on. And in the back you can't hear, even when the judges are on the bench, we can barely hear it. I know it's new to us as a people to start speaking out, and I want to get used to it. I should speak more, and I want the children that come after me to do even better. I see a lot of things that need to be addressed in the city. The jobs are, like I said before, are critical. We shouldn't chase employers away. I see our parks look kind of terrible, okay? They should be made better. We have a brook that runs through a park, and it's a mess. If it wasn't for that brook, I would not know how to swim. Because of prejudices, I wasn't able to go to the Y. My younger brother was able to go, but that was, a few years different. But it still was a mess, and it was a mess then. The brooks, we should straighten out. There were bridges there, and it seems like North Plainfield is not proud of Plainfield. I don't give a damn. Let's straighten them out. They took down bridges that used to cross the park. There were two in the park. That's Greenwood Park, I'm referring to. There were two in the park that were there. They took them out. They're not supposed to go out lightly, because I think there's some laws saying that you don't take bridges out because they're there and they serve more purposes than just crossings. They're shelters for wildlife and stuff. I remember that brook used to have that brook and the other brook in Cedar Brook Park too. They used to have tiger lilies along the waterways in the ponds. A pond both the ponds are a mess. They should be made better, and we should plan it, and we should get our children involved in it. I was in high school when they opened the new science department, and I talked to, that's since I was here last time. I talked to some of the people in the science department, the principal and the superintendent of the schools. And I think that there's a program wherein these kids can raise fish from eggs, and basically if they did, somehow we can get some return from the state and, stock our streams ourselves. But the streams should be made better because they're so terrible. Is one of the reasons that we have floods. There used to be 2 waterfalls along that stream. And sometimes some of the kids that I grew up, you would, stand and shower into these waterfalls. Let's straighten those books out. Let's study them. I'm going to try to get a grant or get involved in a grant, because I didn't talk to him about a grant, but I would like to see the kids involved in being able to test the water and put fishes and stuff in there like they used to be. There's a greens area between South Plainfield and Plainfield. I think the water company's involved in it. We should make a park there. It's sitting there doing nothing, but it should be, and there's 2 ponds in there. So there are a lot of things to do, and that's, I think we should check that out. I'd like to be able to talk to you about it, directly sometime and see what we can do. But that would involve some employment for some of the people, and the kids as a result may get into conservation and science and things like that. And there's a lot of problems I'd like to talk to you about, but that's enough for today.
Thank you.
Good evening. Rashid Abdul Haq, 1272 Park Avenue. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a few comments because we have not had a reevaluation since 1992. People who live in smaller homes in Plainfield pay more than their fair share of taxes. And people who live in the larger, more expensive homes pay less than their fair share of taxes. It's very easy to document. I also think council members should consider passing an ordinance to make folks stop walking around with their butts hanging out. What is it? We can say if someone is indecently exposed, we can tell them not to do it. So I can't see why we can't, for any reason, not tell them to pull their pants up. I think the council should consider the flea market I proposed on Grand Avenue and 3rd Street. I think it would help to create jobs that are needed in Plainfield if it's thought through properly. I think the council should answer the residents' questions. I watched a council meeting on Comcast, and residents asked questions about parking at the senior citizens, was they supposed to provide, and they got no answer as to why this wasn't taking place. I heard a guy ask a question about why we made these improvements at the Little League field on Rock Avenue, but no improvements to the football field down at Sidler Field. Jeff Dunn, I was watching him on TV also. He said that contractors would be coming into Plainfield, that there would be work for somebody, and hopefully we'd be able to employ some of our own people. And Corporation Counsel told him that there would need to be a study for so that the courts would accept an affirmative action plan. And I remember, some of y'all, Adrian, I don't know, but I remember that a guy named Reed and Brown did a study, that type of study for us, so that we could have an affirmative action program. Now, it might be dated because it was in 1996, but nevertheless, we should review that document and see if we could build upon it, or if it still carries weight now. I got a lot of other things to say. I really want to talk about this picture, this racist picture over here, and how we can get rid of it and benefit our city at the same time. But I'll save that for next time. I think there is no need to have a director of public safety and affairs. The reason we had Charlie Allen a long time ago was because the police department was essentially Caucasian, and we needed to have a black guy in there. But at this point, I think we ought to have a police chief, so that these guys can have something to strive for. These police officers, and we should just have a chief of police and a fire chief reporting to a city administrator. They're talking about the study now for the charter. Maybe that is something that can be done. I think I've said enough. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Any more? Seeing none, have a motion to close public comments?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. Before we close, I just wanted to say that there was a family on what's that? Clinton and Fourth who was involved in a fire, and they lost everything. They have 3 children that are in the Plainfield Public School District. They lost everything. Her name is Shantae Simmons. So if we can, I know we can't do it as a body, but if we can reach out to her and, try to help her with her children, and, we're at the holiday season now, and they have nothing but their lives. So her number is 908-548-5997, and again, her name is Shantae Simmons. And anything that you guys can help, coats, boots, shoes, clothes, uniforms, because they are in school, it would be greatly appreciated.
Give me that number.
908-548-5997.
5997.
Thank you. Motion to close? I'm sorry.
I just want to also say, I want to thank the city of Plainfield, also the police department, the fire department. On last Monday, we were able to do a feeding program, and we hosted it, we Fellowship Ministries hosted it, and we were able to feed over 400 families in Plainfield. So I just want to thank all the volunteers.
Anybody else have anything? Seeing none, can I have a motion to close?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.